Hey guys, Casual Crono here. I'm finally getting around to playing around with a crystal team. And as far as I can tell, I can really go one of two ways. I can try and beef up Thillelillie, or because of her reactive damage, I could try to beef up Alma. So this particular group I've designed to beef up Thillelillie. If you look at Thillelillie, her personality, she's a sweet tooth, member of the clergy, West, sword, and crystal. So the sharing grasta I want to look at are ones that fulfill those. And if I go to replace someone, you now have the ability, if you scroll down, you can go to the personality filter, select any number of a gazillion personalities, and then you can select West, clergy, and sweet tooth. And these are all the characters that fit at least one of those categories. So when I was looking around, Melina popped up. She is also sweet tooth, clergy, and West. She actually has the exact same 3 personality traits that the Thillelillie has. So it made sense for me to go ahead and put her back in the back row. And sure enough, now she has the Almighty Power Clergy, Almighty Power West, and Almighty Power Sweet Tooth. So all of her grasta are designed specifically to help Thillelillie. What other grasta can I get? Well, there is from Indrana the Enhance if max HP and then Element. So one of them is Crystal. So as long as the Thillelillie stays at max health, her damage can go up by 10%. And that's actually true for all of the crystal users, so all of their damage can go up. That can be equipped by any crystal user, so it could be someone in the back row, or it could be a main party member. The one person I don't want to equip it to is the Thillelillie. And that is because when you look at her skill set, her biggest attack is something called Sword in Heart. She has to be in sword-wielding savior mode. It does a massive amount of damage, and it barrier pierces. And you know how I feel about barrier pierce. If there's a skill that barrier pierces, it needs to be in there. However, once I use it, it ends the sword-wielding state. It does not work outside of the sword-wielding state. And right now, the only way to get back to sword-wielding state is to use Moke as your sidekick. He has a charge skill. It takes 5 charges. When I use it, all members gain Lunatic, and Thillelillie enters sword-wielding state for 3 turns. So if I activate Moke during the fight, I have 3 turns and I can choose any one of those 3 to use that massive, massive, massive attack. But once I use it, then I have to wait another 5 turns for Moke to charge up before I can activate Moke and then have access to this again. So it feels a little clunky to me, but that's just how it is right now. So unless something changes, that's what we're going to go with. So when you look at the other skills, her 3 skills, Photon Judgment, Photon Rejection, Photon Messiah. Photon Messiah inflicts pain, it is persistent, and it ignores resistance. So there you go, I have my pain setter. So Photon Messiah definitely has to appear in the skill list. It also improves the critical rate and magical critical rate for 5 moves, which I don't care too much about because I can give her a weapon that gives her crit rate of 100%. However, it also improves crystal type attacks by 50% for 3 turns. So not only does it produce pain, but it also beefs up her attack power. And then as long as I use it in sword-wielding savior state, it improves in strength based on how many shadow allies I have in the front row. Now, it's not my main attack skill, but it is an attack skill, so it would benefit me to try and find characters that are shadow that can be in the front row. To her other skills, usually when I'm looking at skills, I look for something that can buff the character. And she has Promised Land. It is preemptive, it improves her power, as well as her speed. She doesn't really care about intellect. and it increases her skill hit count, and the buff turn duration increases for shadow allies. So even though it's for 1 turn normally, it should last for more than 1 turn because she is a shadow ally. So anything that boosts power, I like. So those are my main 3 skills that I'm going to test out. If you have the 4th skill slot open, I was looking at Crystalline Stance. It's a good way to put it back up. Alma has the ability that if you have 4 crystal users, she deploys an Awakened Stance, which means once the Awakened zone ends, there's no way to put back Crystal Zone without Alma leaving and coming back from her Valor Chant. So this skill allows me to put back the Crystal Zone without having to move Alma out and back in, which is good because Alma is my tank. Knowing all that, Thillelillie is a sword user. So for sword shared grasta, I should throw in a sword user in the reserves. It doesn't really matter who, since it's sword grasta, so I just threw in a bot. I have Enhance if max HP, Enhance at low HP, and Power of Crystal Sword. So as long as her attacks stay crystal, they improve by 30%, and then depending on her health, if she's maxed out, she gets another 30%. If it's below 80% health, her damage increases by 40%. So I've kind of covered the basics. The one shared grasta I don't have in this team is Robust Body Sword. It would give her an extra 300 health. I'm not sure she really needs it since she's not tanking, and I don't have any other sword users, so it's not like I can throw it on someone else. So that is how I chose the back row characters, the sidekick, and how I have Thillelillie geared. Grasta-wise, she has the typical Power Pain setup, since she has a Pain ability, and one has Bullseye, one has MP Consumption, and the third one is the Gleaming Power of Pain, which improves both Pain and Crystal type attacks. I think that was from one of the Astral Archive tomes. As far as gear, she has the best weapon, Elpis. She has the Dryad's Bangle, because it improves her critical damage, and she has 100% critical rating thanks to her weapon, so she will always crit. And the third one, I threw in a Power Plus a Power Plus Speed Reduced badge, and there's a reason for that. Her speed I wanted to lower because my second character, Eva, she has a pretty high speed, and I found out if I actually unequipped this and had something else, her speed actually was faster than Eva's. It was like a 318, and Eva it was 313. Now, speed, there's a little bit of variance. It's possible that Eva would still go first, even though she had slightly lower speed, but probably more often than not, Thillelillie would go first. And I have Eva in here, 1, because she's a crystal user, 2, because she has Icicle Sorch, which inflicts break. If she goes first, and then Thillelillie goes second, Thillelillie will benefit from having a break on the monster. And the other abilities that she has, Glint Purge and Glacier Veil. Glint Purge will reduce crystal resistance up to 4 times, and Glacial Veil boosts crystal type attack by 25%. So those are my 3 choices for Eva. As far as gear, I tried to get her speed as high as possible, so I gave her the Prismatic Rod, which improves speed. I gave her the Anti-Lightning Ring, that improves speed, and the best speed badge I have is a plus 40. So, and I was only able to get to 313. I know that if I actually had a lot of light points, 140, her speed would go up even more, but I couldn't even add that if I tried. And I'm not sure I'd waste it all on her anyway. So those are Eva's skills. They're designed to debuff the enemy, to buff the team, specifically Thillelillie, and to create a break opportunity for Thillelillie. So let's look at the next character, Mariel. Mariel's main role in this is her Oratio Virtuous. It improves type attack by 50%. It gives Mariel her hit points form a shield, and received damage is decreased by 50%. And that happens every turn basically for 5 moves. So it's basically a huge damage boost. And she's a crystal user, so I wanted to try and stick with crystal users. I do have Oratio Solutus if I need more defense, or if I need to put down Cyclone Wind immunity, so I can kind of swap between the two. When she's not praying, I can just simply attack with Ala Aurea, which is a crystal attack that hits 5 times. Now the problem is, if I put a break on with Eva, and then Mariel goes next, she uses up the break. So I actually intentionally reduced her speed to a very low level. The praying starts automatically. It's preemptive, so it doesn't matter what her speed is for the praying. So her attacks will basically go last in the group. She has a benefit with the Enduring Fists, which is an OOPA arts weapon, the Elpis necklace, and the HP plus speed halved badge. Grasta-wise, she has 3 grasta. Each one is improved with an HP ore, so she gets 1800 health from grasta for a grand total of 7600 health, which is good because her shield, it's 30% of her max HP will be given as a shield. So 30% of 700 or 7644 would be over 2000, so she has maxed out the shield. So that is Mariel. She's going to pray and then basically heal as necessary with her attack. The last character, Alma AS. She is my crystal tank. As such, I have built her as a tank. She has the Elpis ring, which gives extra health. She has an HP plus speed halved badge for some 2000 extra health. She does have the Elpis bow, because really there's nothing else. I mean, I could look for bows that give health, which I believe, I'm not even sure if there are any. Lollipopper can give some health, and there might be some others, but my Lollipopper is only a +1, so she would not gain that much. So Grasta-wise are also same concept. She has, whoops, that happens sometimes when I kind of try and scroll up. So she has 3 Grasta. Each one has a base 300 health. Each one has been upgraded with an ore that gives 300 health. And one of them happens to be Power of Rebirth, which means she gets a regen and mana regen constantly as well. Her skills should allow her, when she gets attacked, to reactively heal, kind of like Radius AS, but I do have this regen in place just in case. I happen to have her Citrinius proof, which gives her an extra 5 power and speed. I'm thinking actually about unequipping it because her speed is very, very close to Thillelillie's speed. She has 156, and Thillelillie has 158, which means basically it's a toss-up who goes after the break. But as long as I have a skill by Alma that does not attack, I won't use up the break. So let's look at her skills. I have Luster Glare, which is a magic attack. It creates an elemental break for 3 stacks. It improves the team's type attack by 50%, which means it buffs Thillelillie. And she has Refraction Bullet. There it is. And that inflicts rage, as well as gives her a counterattack. It does also improve the party's type resistance, so between it and Mariel, they should have a decent amount of resistance. And when she does get counterattack, it restores party's health and mana. And then there's some extra details about both, depending if she's in an Alchemaic high and everything. Usually it improves in strength tremendously. The other 2 abilities that I have for her, since she has over 80 shadow, I threw in Kaleidoscope. It grants link to a party member that allows them to barrier pierce, so I could, if sword wielding savior state has been used up, I could use Kaleidoscope and allow Thillelillie to barrier pierce for 3 moves with one of her other attacks. And I do have Elixir Ray, which allows me not only to use Lunatic again, but also restores health and mana. So she is a tank. It would be nice just to have an emergency way to give health. I'm not so sure I need both of these skills, and if you don't have 80 Shadow, you only have to choose one anyway. So I would say just choose whichever one you feel you might use more. So that is the team. My sub-sidekick I chose was Gunts, and that's just because if I blow the AF bar, all members' stats improves by 20%. And I like that. I'm not sure how often I'll use the AF bar, but let's test out this with the test dummy and see what kind of damage we can get. And because Thillelillie is completely Stellar Awakened, she enters the battle as a sword-wielding savior, and it only has 3 turns. So I have to use that ability, Sword and Heart. I have to use it within the first 3 turns or I lose it. So I'll use those first 3 turns to buff her up. So in her case, I'm going to inflict pain. I'm going to go ahead and Glacial Veil because that lasts 5 turns. I'm going to go ahead and start praying. And in her case, I usually think it's a good idea to go ahead and inflict rage right away. So I'm going to cast Refraction Bullet. Now I have not done this on the test dummy, so I don't really know what kind of damage I'm going to be expecting here. We have Praying and we have an Awakened Crystal Zone right now. Right. On turn 2, we use Promised Land to beef up her power. I'm going to Glint Purge. It's going to go twice because the boss is above 50% health, so that will add to the stacks. At this point, Mariel is just kind of sitting around doing whatever. I guess I'll have her attack, I don't know. And because I cast Rage on this turn, I'm going to cast Luster Glare on this one. That will create an Elemental Break. Actually, if I want Elemental Break, I don't want to attack with a crystal attack. So let's just keep praying. Okay, there's 1 stack, 2 stacks, 3 stacks, and 4 stacks of crystal debuff. Alright, here is turn 3. This is the final turn that I have of Sword Wielding Savior. If I don't use Sword and Heart this turn, it's not going to get used until Moke re-awakes it. So I'm going to use it. Now, because of her speed, Icicle Zorch should go first. It's a water attack, so it won't use up one of those 6 crystal breaks. To make sure I don't accidentally use any more crystal breaks, I don't want to cast Luster Glare or Refraction in case Alma goes first. Technically, if she did, it's a single attack, so it would only use up one of those 6 stacks. So I could use one again, but let's just go ahead and let's just an Elixir Ray for now. And we're going to go ahead and pray, because again, we don't want to accidentally use up the crystal stacks. So on this 3rd turn, Eva should create break, and Thillelillie should go completely crazy on the test dummy. So we're going to see what kind of damage we get. There's the break. Let's see Sword and Heart. Alright, that was really fast. The test dummy only has 1 billion health. I say only 1 billion health, like everyone can get that. So it looked like each of those hits was around 1 billion something, if I saw it correctly. I saw a few 1s as the first digit. So we didn't hit the damage cap or anything, but since that particular attack, Sword and Heart, hits 4 times, if each one was 1 billion, that means I did just do 4 billion damage worth of barrier piercing loveliness. So let's see what happens. So we know that Thillelillie wants additional shadow users in the front row. Mariel, for the most part, didn't really do much. She basically prayed and then sat around and just kept praying. So let's swap her out for a shadow crystal user. I have a few available. I have Mistrare, I have Melissa, and Dewy Altar, I believe, is also a shadow crystal user, and a lot of people highly recommend him as a partner. I don't have him, so unfortunately I can't throw him in the party, but if you have him, I think he would definitely be worth considering. So the question is, who would I swap out to? Well, I tend to look at their skills. So Melissa has a skill that also inflicts break. Not so sure if I need that if I keep Eva in the team. And let's see, I can improve physical resistance. Oh, it says attack, but it's user attack. It's critical damage. It does increase by 30%, so Nephrite boost would help Thillelillie. Alright. Glint Gale can reduce crystal type resistance by 50% and physical resistance. So why don't we go ahead and try Nephrite Boost and Glint Gale and see if we get similar or even better numbers. And the other skills, there is an Inflict Elemental Break, but we have AS Alma for that. And the Ruin Genocide inflicts break, but we have Eva for that. So why don't we start off by trying Melissa in the team.
Just give me the orders, I'll handle the rest.
Now, we want to make sure that Melissa's speed does not interfere with our plans. So she's at 268. That means Eva would go first, Melissa would go second, and then a toss-up between Thillelillie and Alma. To prevent this from happening, we could forcibly reduce her speed. So let's maybe do that approach. And there's badges, for me at least, are usually the best way to reduce that speed. So I can look for something like the Giant's badge, which I think improves health by 1,000, reduces speed by 100. The Toto Theater World, if you run it for a while, a lot of them have things like, improve HP, reduce mana, and so forth by 50%. So let's find one that reduces speed by 50%. Alright, I could improve my mana and reduce speed. I could improve my health and reduce speed. That's usually kind of my go-to. And let's see, badge-wise, what would make sense? Oops, not bad. Armor-wise. I have the Dryad's Ring, among other things. Her main goal is basically buffing as well. In this example, I understand she can do some pretty massive damage of her own. So, but I try to think about the roles that these people are taking. So if her main role is to buff and debuff, I want her to stay alive. So things like resistances are good. Anything that improves health would be good. Mana regen might not be a bad thing. Tempered rings adds to health. So let's just give her a plasma ring. It does have a little bit of mana regen. And then grasta, same concept. I would want things that would improve her health. So she happens to be my grasta holder right now for Sesta. So I don't want to really mess with those. But if I was doing this for real, I would probably give her the 300 health grastas that would improve her health even further. So, alright. Otherwise, everything is still the same. Mana looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and try the same thing and see if we can get above 1 billion per hit. Because it looked like it was in the low 1 billions to me. Alright, round 1. Inflict pain. Glacial Veil. Let's take a look at this. For 3 turns, I improve crystal type attack. For 3 turns, I can reduce resistance. And I'm not casting that one at all. Neither one stacks, so it doesn't really matter, I guess, which one I use first. So I'm not in Flash Strike stance, so the second part of that really doesn't apply right now. When another zone is deployed, turn duration increased. So, alright, let's just use that one first. We have a zone deployed. And then Inflict Rage. So, there's the pain. Round 2, same order as last time. We're going to beef up Thillelillie. We're going to Glint Purge. We did Nephrite boost, so now we should Glint Gale. And Luster Glare to get the elemental break. There's the stacks from Eva. Luster Glare. And Glint Gale was a wind attack, so that did not reduce my crystal break stacks. Oh, that's good to know. So I guess Nephrite boost and Glint Gale are good choices. Okay. So now we are ready to go. We're going to do Sword and Heart. We're going to Icicle Zorch for the break. We need to cast something that will not attack and ruin any of the breaks. So let's just go ahead and Nephrite boost again. And Elixir Ray. We're going to watch the numbers and see if they're significantly above or below the 1 billion mark. There's the break. We have the crystal break. Here we go. Ooh, 120s. Alright, so I think each hit was around 1.2 billion instead of just about 1 billion. So I think having Melissa was a better choice, at least offensively, for Thillelillie. One of Mariel's benefits, of course, is that she gives the team a shield and helps keep them alive. She improves the type resistances. So I'm betting that if I wanted to fight a boss that was doing massive amounts of damage, I might want to swap back to Mariel to help survival. I don't have Tetra healing the group or providing his aura with this since I have Moke in the front line. Ooh, sparkly. So let's do one final test with the test dummy. And the other thing is, I don't have to use Eva. I could have swapped her out for Mariel. But I think Eva is providing enough buffs and debuffs that she's probably a little more valuable than Mariel right now. Alright, so we're going to go to Crystal Shadow users. And I do have Mistrare. So I could bring her in. And let's see. Grasta-wise, what do I have? Oh, she has Bow Grasta. That's right. I have her set up to possibly help with Alma. She has a bow, crystal attacks, max HP, damage increase, and sound body. So if I have Mistrare in the group, that could boost Alma's hit points up a little bit more. That gives me 3 shadow users in the front row. And let's take a look at Mistrare's skills. I have kind of a choice. I can swap between her regular style or her Pluma Diana style. Now, her regular style is only level 60. I don't have her at 80 yet. So, we're going to take a look at this one, since it has crystal stuff. She has Hakam Chets, which reduces wind crystal type resistance by 15%, and it stacks. I can inflict pain if I want to, but I have a pain setter. I have, let's see, received damage decreases, critical rate increases, neither one really matters. Wind piercing attack I don't care about. Alright. Lepus Musica. Received damage decreases, critical rate increases, crystal type piercing attack at turn end, power and intelligence, and increased number of attacks and damage based on number of stacks. Alright. So it looks like if I use her as a singer, I'll help reduce damage increase, but since I have a weapon that gives 100% critical rate for Thillelillie, this part doesn't really matter much to me. It looks like I can also reduce the enemy's power and intelligence, which would further help survival purposes. So if I use her, there's no songs. It doesn't look like that would improve the team's party, or improve the team's power. Alright, so, well, this is an experiment, so we're going to test this out anyway. I'm pretty sure she is not going to be quite as helpful as either of the other two, but we don't know until we try. The other thing is, once she starts singing, I can't have her do any additional abilities. So if I start off by singing, I can't do any of these. So we're going to go ahead and start reducing crystal type resistance, and otherwise do the same thing with the others. Now the nice thing about having her in the party is that Alma will be doing more damage as a result. Not that that's really the goal, since we're supposed to be making Thillelillie do more damage. So there's Glint Purge. If I sing, it doesn't really help Thillelillie, but doing more debuff stacks would. So I think this turn I'm going to do that. Do Luster Glare for the elemental break. Here's Eva's debuff stacks. Now, because Mistrare's attack is a wind attack, it won't use up any of the crystal break stacks, so I can still attack with it. I forgot to check her speed, but I'm guessing since I didn't put on any badges, she's probably going to be faster than Thillelillie. So we're going to Icicle Zorch for the break. We're going to Sword and Heart because we have to. She's might work in one more debuff stack. At this point, Alma's just going to Elixir Ray so she doesn't accidentally mess up anything. So we've seen 1 billion damage per swing. We've seen 1,200,000,000 per swing. And now we're going to see... Alright, there's the final stack of that. 766 million. Yep. That's what I was afraid of. I didn't think she would really improve the damage that much. So we probably don't want to use Mistrare. The only reason we would want to use her is if we want a full team of shadow characters. So let's just see what a full team of shadow characters would do. So Shadow, 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 and Shadow. Again, if you have Dewey Alter, he might be way better than Mistrare in this case.
Come for a slap of the wings, eh?
Alright. Pain. We'll do Nephrite Boost first. Go ahead and start doing Crystal Debuff and Inflict Rage. Second turn, Promised Land. We did Nephrite boost, so Glint Gale. We're going to attack again. And this time, Luster Glare. Now this time, I could use Ruin Genocide and inflict Break. However, it attacks twice, and that's going to use up 2 of those crystal break stacks. I'm actually not sure if break and crystal break stack, so I'm not sure if losing 2 crystal break stacks would matter. Let's just go ahead and you know what, let's just try it. It'll use up 2 crystal break stacks. We're going to Sword and Heart because we have to. This one, she should go before Melissa, so we won't use up the break. And we don't want to mess with the break, so we're going to do Elixir Race. So let's see if this works. Oh, we don't get the break after all. 940s. So actually, it did better than when we had Eva and Mistrare in the team. But the best combination we saw for everyone was this one. This one, she was doing 1.2 billion per hit. So, and again, I wish I had Dewey Altar to test things out with, but I don't. There's probably better combinations, but this one did the best for me. So why don't we go and take this on a practical test. The first test we'll do is against the Dragon God. The boss has a 50% HP stopper and is weak to crystal. So this might go really, really fast. We're going to inflict pain. We're going to Glacial Veil. We're going to Nephrite boost and inflict rage. There's the HP stopper right there, which means we might accidentally kill it before we even get to turn 3. So we're going to Promised Land, we're going to Glint Purge, we're going to Glint Gale, and I was playing around last night. I'm pretty sure if I Luster Glare it's going to die. I'm a little worried about the Glint Purge actually. I didn't think about her reaction attacks either. Yeah, this boss might actually die from the Glint Purge. Oh, guess not. Alright. So round 3. We're going to Sword and Heart. We're going to Icicle Zorch. It won't do any damage, but it will create the break. And if we're doing a break, we don't want to do any additional attacks to ruin the break. So we'll just Nephrite boost again and Elixir Ray again. Now this, instead of having 4 stacks of Glint Purge, we only have 2 right now. So just keep that in mind when you see the damage, but it's going to die. Here we go. Damage cap. Looked like several of the attacks were damage cap, so we did multi-billions in damage on the Dragon God. Which is pretty much what I expected since I had been playing around with a slightly different party last night, but that's always nice to see. So let's go maybe test out a boss that has a barrier. One of my favorite bosses to attack for barrier testing is the Mysterious Chaos Ogre Hard. Just to show that I don't have any equipment upgraded or anything, here you go. And I am going to make one change. I haven't really used Moke's ability yet. I haven't had any need to. And I'm going to need to kill this boss in less than 5 turns. So I'm going to just go ahead and switch to Tetra for the extra heals. So let's check out this team against the Mysterious Chaos Ogre Hard. What I'm kind of curious about, he has an HP stopper at 10%. So if on turn 3 I Barrier Pierce and get him down to 10%, what am I going to do for turn 4? Because I'm going to lose the sword-wielding savior state. And I can't wait around until turn 5, because once you get down to that 10%, this boss will kill you. No questions asked. So, Glacier Veil, Nephrite Boost, and Refraction Bullet. Alma is incredible. She has this hold ground ability. She's healing back up. Somehow she's still alive. So, alright, we're going to Luster Glare. We're going to Glint Gale. We're going to Glint Purge and Promised Land. Just kind of sticking with the same routine as before. Getting those breaks in and resistance reductions. I really haven't read up on Alma AS too deeply yet, but she's alive. She's knocked into the back row. So let's move her into the front line. We have all of the buffs and everything, so let's just go ahead and Lunatic this turn. We'll Icicle Zorch for the break, and we will Sword in Heart, and that should Barrier Pierce down to the 10%. There's the break. There's the Sword in Heart. Looks like 359 million per swing, give or take. There goes Alma. And Lunaticked Melissa. So I have some choices now. If I don't kill him this turn, he's going to wipe my party. I could blow the AF bar, but what would I use? I can't use Sword and Heart, so I'd have to use Photon Messiah, which is double attacks. He resists Icicle Zorch. I mean, I can still use it, but not so sure it would really help any. So, in her case, she could use Ruin Genocide. It inflicts break. I've used the others, and he's still debuffed right now. In her case, I could use Luster Glare during the AF bar. So it'd be a 2, 1, 1, 1. And I'd have to keep using 2. I might want to move Photon and Sword and Heart around so that way I can just spam 1s like I'm used to. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, now we're finally doing damage. Whoops, I just cast Photon. Or the Refraction Bullet. Oh, I could have used the Burst skill. Oh, either way, he died. My team didn't. And if she was doing about 350 million per swing and there were 4 swings, that means she did about 1.4 billion on the boss on that barrier piercing attack. So for my third test, I thought I'd try out the Uquaji. Let's see if any are immune to crystal.
Strength is the fear killer.
2 resists, but that's it. Okay. Might be able to work with that. So let's blow the AF bar, and let's do Photon Messiah, which will set pain on everything, and Promised Land if I have time. We'll do Glacial Veil and Glint Purge. We'll do Glint, Gale, and Nephrite Boost. So, and then Refraction and Luster Glares. So let's do 1, 2, 2, 2, and then 3, 3, 3, 1. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 1. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. Whoa. 1 died already? I think I messed up the order there, but I don't think I cast her major attack. Let's see. Alma should take all of the blows and have some reaction hits. And this is where I think if I build Alma to do damage instead of survive, I think she could be doing some massive damage on fights like this. Well, let's think. They have pain. They have 4 stacks. I got in a Glint Gale, so they should have the resistances. Alright. Round 2. Let's just go ahead and Sword and Heart it. And I guess the others... I guess I can just Icicle Zorch. Let's go ahead and see, we know Glint Gale is active, so let's just Nephrite boost it. And Luster Glare? Yeah, Luster Glare. And there's her reaction shot. I wonder if she's going to kill the back one. Yep. Sword and Heart. Looked like about 401 million per swing, so had all 3 of them been up, all 3 definitely would have died as well. Alright. So there is another example of the Crystal team in action. Not quite exactly how I envisioned it, but hey, it worked. Well, let's go heal up. So this team was designed specifically with Thillelillie in mind, and she's only at level 80. There are 20 levels that I could get her up to improve her attack even more. I manipulate the team's speed so that Eva goes first for her break, and otherwise, basically that is the team. All the shared grasta and everything were for Thillelillie. Moke in longer fights would be there to restore her sword wielding state. And as you saw, she can do massive amounts of damage. So that is a potential Crystal Superboss team, featuring Thillelillie and Alma, Melissa, and Eva. So far we have tested Eva and Mariel, we have tested Eva and Melissa, we've tested Eva and Mistrare, so we've used Eva in combination with 3 different people. We've combined Melissa and Mistrare, so this time we should combine Melissa and Mariel together. I have a slightly different team because I did the previous tests a couple weeks ago and I want to do some more tests. And this particular team, Annabelle, is my sword user in the background. She still has the same 3 grasta as before. So grasta wise the team is the same. Melissa has the Enhancive Max HP Crystal grasta, which boosts damage by 10%, but otherwise just has some extra health. And Mariel's grasta all are health based. So it's really just the skills that we're testing. Sidekicks, we still have Tetra and Moke. In fact, let's go ahead and swap the 2. Alright, so let's test out the dummy with this combination.
Combat link engaged.
Do your worst, though.
Alright, like before, on the first turn, we need to set Pain. So we're going to Photon Messiah it. We are going to do Nephrite Boost, which improves crystal attack and critical damage for all party members. She is going to start praying with Oratio Virtuous, which improves party's type attack for 5 moves. And we'll go ahead and inflict Rage, since that's what she would normally do in a real fight.
Alakazam.
Now on turn 2, we're going to cast Promised Land, just like before. We're going to do Glint Gale, that reduces crystal resistance by 50%. I could attack at this point. There's not much else that she can do, so I'll just go ahead and cast Oratio Virtuous over and over again, just so I don't mess up any breaks or anything. And we are going to Luster Glare. That's going to provide an elemental break.
Alakazam.
Alright, we've reduced crystal resistance. We have 6 stacks of elemental break. The third turn, we have Pain, we have 6 stacks. Moke has done 2 debuffs so far. We have to cast Sword in Heart. Now, I could do Ruin Genocide. That will inflict break. And Luster Glare could put back the crystal elemental breaks. Luster Glare, being a magic attack, might not use up Ruin Genocide's normal break. I'm not actually sure about that. Let's just try it and see. This is all for experimentation. We definitely do not want to attack this turn and use up the crystal break stacks, so we're just going to Oratio Virtuous again. And we're going to see how much damage Sword and Heart does on turn 3.
Alakazam.
There's the crystal breaks. Looked like 146, 145, somewhere in there.
Sure.
We'll double check the footage later, but that would be the highest combination so far. Eva and Melissa combined earlier for about 1.2 million per swing, and this was almost 1.5. So this team, this combination of 4, worked really well, despite only being 3 shadow characters. I took a look at the footage, and she was definitely doing 1.4, and then in the background there was also a 1.8 billion damage swing. So I'm thinking that we actually used up some of the crystal breaks, so I want to try one more round doing almost the same thing, and see if I get more of the 1.8s.
Get into gear mode.
And I'll explain what I mean when I get to it. First round, pain. We will boost the team, pray, and inflict rage. Same as before.
Alakazam.
And Moke will howl. Alright, we have pain now. Second turn. Thillelillie going to boost herself. We're going to Glint Gale and reduce crystal resistance. We're going to keep praying. And we're going to Luster Glare. And that's what gave us the 6 stacks of Elemental Break.
Alakazam. Ha. Set.
So looking at the test dummy, right there's the 6 stacks. What we did last time, we cast Ruin Genocide, and that was a crystal type attack that attacked twice, so it used up 2 of those 6. It inflicted break, but it didn't replace, it didn't fulfill. So there's 6 stacks there. I don't want to mess with that. So I am going to go ahead and just Glint Gale again, because it's a wind attack, so it will not use up any of those 6 stacks. So that's what I'm going to do differently. She's going to pray. I could do Luster Glare again, but I don't want to mess with those stacks. So this time I am just going to Kaleidoscope. That does not do any damage. I'll Kaleidoscope the Thillelillie. And it's a third turn. She is going to Sword and Heart. We're going to see if leaving those 6 stacks alone improves the damage of each of her swings. Kaleidoscope also, it grants Barrier Pierce, but Sword and Heart already Barrier Pierces, but it also provides an additional crystal attack. You'll notice it says Link Effect. When ally attacks, crystal type additional attack. So we're going to see, maybe she'll get it in another swing. But either way, we have 6 breaks to worry about. And I looked at the footage from before. Moke did squeeze in a 3rd debuff before Thillelillie went, so we need to hope that he does the same to keep everything the same. So let's see what Sword and Heart does this time. We saw a lot of 1/4s and 1/6s. Yep, there's Moke. Alright, I saw a lot of 1/4s again. So I don't know if it really mattered if we used up some of those breaks or not. Kind of wish they made a bulkier test dummy, or at least could let you review your damage stats. But either way, we consistently did 1.4 billion for most of those swings. We might have done a little bit more with Kaleidoscope. We'll have to take a look at the footage and see. But it seems like this group is definitely consistently doing more damage than Eva and Mariel, Eva and Melissa, Eva and Mistrare, and Melissa and Mistrare. So right now, this is kind of the team I'm leaning towards using. When Alma AS came out as a tank, and she had reactive damage, and basically she couldn't die for the first few rounds, I thought she could probably be a really awesome glass cannon. And that's how I've designed her and this team. So this is another version of the Crystal Superboss team, but this time instead of the Thillelillie being the main damage dealer, I have Alma. Now, since Alma's the main damage dealer, she needs the most powerful weapon. She needs the Elpis Bow. For defense, Elpis Ring is great. High defense and magic defense, and gives her health. And I'm giving her the weak point badge. That is because her Luster Glare, which I should cast on turn 2, her attacks change based on the target's weak point, so she should always be doing weak point damage if the enemy has a weak point. And that way with the weak point badge, I can increase her damage by 30%. Grasta-wise, she has the Pain Grasta. She has Pain with Bullseye, Pain with MP consumption, and then Gleaming Power of Pain, which improves pain and crystal type damage. Now, if her attack changes to something that's not crystal, I don't think we get the benefits of that crystal bonus damage. So that is one thing to kind of keep in mind using this strategy. However, being a tank, she doesn't have that much health, only 5,300 health. So that could be an issue. If she was level 100, she'd probably have a little bit more health naturally, but that's all she's got. So what did I do to kind of beef her up? Well, as always, first I look at the skills and decide what to use. Refraction Bullet is the it's the skill that gains her counterattack. It also improves the party's type resistance for 3 turns, which is nice. So every time she counters, she restores the party's health and mana. So she'll usually be at full health when counterattacking. And the strength of the counterattack increases quite a lot when she's in her Alchemaic High, which she starts the battle off under Alchemaic High for a few turns. So if I can get some reactive attacks going the first few turns, they're really high in damage. Luster Glare, as I mentioned, it'll change her attack based on the target's weak point. It also improves her type attack by 50%. Technically the rest of the parties too, but we don't care about them. I have Kaleidoscope. I'm not sure if I'd really use it since this is supposed to feature Alma's damage. And then I have Elixir Ray, which restores her health and her mana, allows her to use Lunatic again. I could use Brain Record instead of Kaleidoscope probably, but her other ability changes her attack type to the target's weak point, so I'm not really sure if Brain Record seems kind of redundant. So that is Alma. Alma is a cat lover, wears glasses, or carries them around on a little stick. She is a bow and gun user, alchemist, which there's no grasta for alchemist, and a crystal user. So we need to use those personality traits to make her even stronger. Well, since she's a bow user, I have Mistrare in the background. Since Alma's reactive damage heals her, she's usually at max health when she's attacking. So I have Enhance if max HP bow. Alma's damage should increase by 30%. Since Alma is a tank, I do want her to have some health, so I did give Sound Body bow, though I'm not so sure it's necessary since she can't really die the first couple of turns. And I do have Power of Crystal bow, assuming that what I'm fighting is weak to crystal. Ash Tier happens to have some of the same personality traits. She has Almighty Power Glasses and Almighty Power Gun, both of which will boost Alma's damage no matter what the enemy's weak point is. For the third grasta, I just threw in a proficiency debuff resistance for the whole team. So the other 3 characters, since she has Pain grasta, I need someone that can set pain. And of the crystal users, Thillelillie has Photon Messiah. It attacks all enemies and inflicts pain. So if we're fighting 5 different enemies at once, they can all get pain instantaneously. It also improves the party's crystal type attacks by 50%. So as long as she continues doing crystal damage, her damage goes up. For Thillelillie's other skills, I have Apostle, which improves strength for all party members. Remember that Alma's kind of weird. She does magic damage, but it's based on her strength value. And then for all shadow allies, weapon type damage is increased by 50% for 5 turns. So by using Apostle, I boost Alma in 2 different ways. Her strength goes up and her weapon type damage goes up. Once those first 2 skills have been cast, I can then cast Promised Land. It improves power by 100% for all party members, and magic damage is increased based on maximum MP. Again, Alma does magic damage, so this helps with that. And then for shadow allies, that buff increases for 5 turns instead of just 1, if I'm reading this correctly. And finally, her 4th skill is Benediction. For the first 3 turns, I have an awakened crystal zone, but then it goes away. So this is a way to redeploy crystal stance. So that is Thillelillie's role, pain setter and buffer. And then I have Eva and Melissa. Just like for Thillelillie, Eva has Glacial Veil, which improves crystal type attacks, and Glint Purge, which reduces crystal resistance on enemies and stacks. She has Icicle Zorch, which inflicts break, but that's not too important at this point because Alma is doing magic damage, not physical, and Alma can place crystal break anyway, so I don't really know if Icicle Zorch is particularly helpful here at all. But there really isn't anything better to use, so I guess I could use Lucent Magi. It would reduce an enemy's power and intellect, so that could help with incoming damage since Alma doesn't have that much health. So next is Melissa. Melissa has Nephrite Boost, which improves the critical damage from all party users by 30%. Glint Gale reduces crystal resistance by 50%. The physical resistance isn't quite as important since Alma does magic damage. And Ruin Genocide is just there basically as an attack. I don't really have anything better. I could use Wind Divide and have her be the pain and poison setter. I could improve physical resistance of all party members. So there are other options I could do. I can inflict an elemental break and so forth. So the physical resistance actually isn't a half bad idea since, let's see, let's swap out Glint Gale with it. The Alloy Shield isn't a bad idea since, again, she doesn't have nearly quite as much health as a regular tank would. Sidekick-wise, Tetra for heals makes sense, and when Alma takes damage below 80%, she's going to increase her maximum health and improve her physical and magical resistance. So it's another way to kind of keep her alive. And then finally, I have Gunts in the background. If I need to blow the AF bar, everyone's team stats will go up by 20%, including Alma's. So her defenses will go up a little bit, her endurance and her spirit. So that is the team. I don't know how strong it's going to be compared to Thillelillie, but I think this team is going to act really well against any enemies that have like multiple attacks, particularly on the first few turns. Because if Alma gets hit 4, 5, 6, 7 times on the very first turn, Alma's going to attack back 4, 5, 6, 7 times on the first turn. So let's see if we can find some enemies that can showcase this. I thought I'd give Imbrium Basin a whirl with this team. We're going to get Refraction Bullet right away to inflict rage. And then we can improve crystal damage. We'll go ahead and Glint Purge. And we need to inflict pain. There's the pain. And here come the crystal debuffs. Alright, move back into the front line. Now we're going to Glint Gale, Glacial Veil, and That's preemptive, so she'll miss it, so we'll do Apostle.
I'm not going to doubt myself any longer.
Okay, any day it would like to attack. That would be awesome. There it goes. 3 attacks. 1 reaction. 2 reactions. 3 reactions, and we hit the HP stopper. 4 reactions. Alright, let's see. Go ahead and Photon Messiah it again. Glint Purge again. And Luster Glare.
All done.
And there we go.
That's the power of the sword-wielding savior. That was nothing.
Alright, so that was Imbrium Basin taken care of. And that was with Moke in the front row. Meant to switch Tetra. Alright, let's go check out some more. As usual, when testing a crystal team, I like to go to Terra Nivium.
Roar does not a bite make.
And we're going to see how Alma's reactive damage does against this person. Crystal? Thing? Whatever. We're going to use Photon Messiah to sect Pain. We're going to Glacier Veil. We're going to Nephrite Boost. And we're going to go ahead and get Rage going.
Too slow.
And we kind of sit back and wait to get attacked. Already, the first reaction looks like it brought it down to half-life. Round 2, we're going to Promised Land it. I probably should Apostle, but I'm kind of worried about killing it. So we'll Promised Land, Glint Purge, Glint Gale, and Luster Glare. Well, Luster Glare totally destroyed that thing. It looked like maybe 835 million.
I no longer process the sound of death.
We're going to need to find something else to test this group on. Let's do a slightly unconventional test. I don't really want to give up the back row characters because they're boosting Alma so much. And Eva and Melissa are great for the buffs and debuffs. One of Thillelillie's main uses was to set pain and poison. But I have a Suzette that can do that. And Suzette has a true manifest fight. So let's see how Alma does
Initiate attack mode.
against a true manifest Suzette fight. One that's not weak. So we'll Glacial Veil it, Nephrite Boost it, and Refraction Bullet.
Slice.
Behold, the ancient despair.
Each time she gets attacked, she fights back. So let's see, round 2, we're going to up the game some. We're going to decrease wind resistance. We're going to Do that. I'm just going to go ahead and keep demonic thrusting because I don't want her to accidentally do any major amounts of damage. And we'll luster glare. There's one attack. Looks like we hit the first HP stopper. Oh, she's back up to full health. Might knock down to the next HP stopper. Yep. Alright, she still can't die. Looks like she took lots of hits. And there we go. I think we just killed the true manifest boss.
Initiating maintenance.
All right.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I thought I'd try to showcase something a little different using Alma AS as a tank. So here is my Superboss 1 team. It's the same one, I believe, from February 2024 if you want to see the details. Of course, we have Alma as a tank now, which means she can take the place of Radius, and we actually don't need her. So who do we put in here? We need to put someone that will beef up Alma. So we could go ahead and throw in Melissa. Why not? She's proven herself to be pretty helpful.
I'll handle the rest.
We're going to fight a boss right here, the Lacus Solitudnis. This boss is weak to wind. So when Alma casts her skill, Luster Glare, her attacks are going to become wind-based attacks. That means a few things for our grasta setup. First of all, it means Mistrare's grasta, Power of Crystal Bow, is not going to be helpful. So what we need to do is give her the power of, wherever it went, Gale Bow. Looks like we need to upgrade it too, so let's go ahead and do that before we forget. Bows. Power of Gale Bow. Upgrade. Now it's shareable. So now, once Alma changes to wind type attacks, that particular grasta will come into effect. Along the same lines, we have Melissa with Enhance if max HP wind. This will improve wind users' damage at max HP. I don't know if that is actually going to affect Alma because she isn't technically a wind user, but she is using wind attacks. I figure it can't hurt. So, otherwise, her Melissa's abilities are designed for katana users since she's part of my Cesta team. However, Melissa's skills, if we use Glint Gale, it does reduce wind resistance by 50%. So Glint Gale is still a good choice to use. I could use Wind Divide for poison and pain. However, this is my Superboss 1 team, which is usually a magic team, and Iffy can provide pain and poison. I have 2 crystal users in the front row, so the battle will automatically start in Crystal Zone. Xion can go ahead and reapply Magic Zone with attack order, because this particular boss has the ability to basically break the zone and replace it with Earth Zone. I could also use the first turn to blow the AF bar, and he could use, I believe it's Suzaku Encirclement. It can awaken the crystal zone so it can't be overwritten. So I could go one of two ways. If I blow the AF bar right away, Gunce's aura will also kick in and give her 20% extra stats. So why don't we try that? The other nice thing about this party, Xion happens to be a cat lover. So he is going to also boost Alma's damage by 25%. Mistrare and Ashtier still have all of their grasta boosting Alma as well. So let's see how this combination works against this boss.
A banquet for me?
Alright, we have Crystal Zone. I think it would probably be a good idea if I go ahead and spend the first turn blowing the AF bar. If I work in both Luster Glare and Refraction Bullet, I'll change my type attacks to the weakness, which is Wind. I can work in Rosaliliac for the pain, and I can do Nocturnal Procession. I could do kind of whatever after that. In his case, I could blow Suzaku Encirclement and Awaken the Zone. And finally, I can work in some of these. So let's go ahead on the first turn, and let's do 3, 2, 3, 2, and then 1, 1. It doesn't really matter with her. Let's just do all ones to be on the safe side. So that's 3, 2, 3, 2, and then all ones. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Alright, we got some damage going. We got Pain and Poison. She's going to react, and she just did 282 million damage in the reaction attack. I have an Awakened Zone, so this boss can no longer deploy his Earth Zone, at least for 2 more rounds. So at this point, really don't know if it matters what I use. I might as well use Refraction Bullet. I'll use Nocturnal Procession. That will improve her power for this turn. I've cast all of those, so I can do Attack Order to give a break to the boss. And let's see, I did Glint Gale. I think I did Alloy Shield. So let's do Nephrite Boost. Actually, we did do that one. Let's do Alloy Shield. Make sure we got that one in. Alright. 278 million reaction damage. And the boss is already dead.
Nobody touches my casket and lives.
So if you know what type of weakness Alma is going to change into, you can adjust your party a little bit and create wind weaknesses, equip certain grasta that will improve that particular type of weakness, and Alma will be a much more efficient reaction tank. This is a fight I've been wanting to test for a little while. I have seen it done before. This is not some brand new idea by me. I have seen other videos of Alma AS just utterly destroying the Uquaji clan just from counterattacks. So the team I have set up to try this, I have Thillelillie, who has Photon Messiah, which will put pain on all enemies. So I need to definitely hit that one. After that, I have Apostle, and I have some other things, Promised Land for 1 turn, and so forth. But this is to focus on Alma, so I'm just going to try the Photon Messiah. Mariel ES, Crystal User. Grasta-wise, she is a cat lover along with Alma, so she is going to passively buff Alma by 25%. And then she's going to have Oratio Virtuous, which will improve for 5 moves, Alma's type attack. So that is her role in this. Melissa has a skill, Glint Gale, that reduces crystal resistance by 50%. It also reduces physical resistance, but Alma's damage is considered magical, so I don't think that's really going to matter much. And as far as grasta sharing, Mistrare has Enhance if Max HP Bow, which when she counterattacks, she restores health, so she should be at max HP for most of the counters. I have Sound Body, and I have Power of Crystal Bow to improve her damage by 30%. Ash Tier has Almighty Power Gun and Glasses, which Alma is both, so she's going to give an extra 50% type attack. And then for the third one, I just threw in a proficiency debuff, because there was really nothing else. Alma herself is built for damage, not defenses. So you'll see that her hit points are very low. She has the best weapon in the game currently, Elpis Bow. She has the Elpis Ring, which does give her some health. And she has Weak Point Badge, but they don't have weak points. So she needs power. What should we give her? Because I could give her power. I could give her Vitality Badge, which is 20% when max health. Let's do Vitality Badge. Let's see how that affects things. Grasta-wise, she has 3 Pain Grasta. 1 has Bullseye. 1 has the MP Consumption. And 1 has... It's just upgraded. It's the Gleaming Power of Pain. So let's see. The only thing we're missing then is damage if max HP Crystal. So enhance max HP Crystal. There we go. So Melissa can give an extra 10% damage boost as well. Alright. So let's find a Uquaji group that's not immune to Crystal and test this out.
Get back home.
Alright, since we have 4 Crystal users, we start off with an Awakened Crystal Zone. That's a Glint Gale. Let's see. We have 1 resist, but no nulls for Crystal. Unless it's resisting Blunt, but either way. Yep, looks like it's resisting Crystal. Okay. So we have choices. We could blow the AF bar right away. We'll work in Photon Messiah. And then maybe Promised Land, I guess. We'll do Oratio Virtuous. We'll do Glint Gale for the crystal resistance. And Refraction Bullet, that it gains the counterattack. And then if I have time, I'll also do a Luster Glare. So we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3. And then probably just 1s at that point. The others, critical damage. Well, we could try working a Nephrite boost. Alright. So we're doing 1, 2, 1, 2, then 3, 1, 3, 1. Alright. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. And looks like the Uquaji clan's already almost dead. Well, that's not going to... Well, I guess we'll see her counterattack damage now. Was that 272 million?
May our prayers reach the heavens.
That was a huge amount of counterattack damage. Well, I can't test him again for another day. The reason that I believe she's so good against the Uquaji clan, if we didn't actually kill them right away, the Fists of All Heaven attack is something like 10 hits or something, which means she counterattacks 10 times. And she literally can't die on the first turn. So it doesn't matter how much damage the fists do, she's going to counter 10 times and restore her health in the process. But I wasn't expecting them to die quite that quickly, so that's kind of cool, but that didn't really show off her counterattack skills. I'll have to find something else that counters quite a bit. Just for fun, let's take this same team. Actually, I don't know if Melissa has any gear. That might not be the best thing. Grasta. She's a katana user. Let's give her... Do I have any extra power of pains? Let's give her some almighty powers, supreme powers, almighty. Supreme. Okay. Alright, so we're going to take that same team with the glass cannon Alma. I just want to see what Melissa's not true manifest, level 10 manifest fight is like. Alright. We could do the same setup. So it was 1, 2, 1, 2, followed by 3, 1, 3, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1. That was not the right. That was not the right 3. Well, let's see what our counterattack damage is like now. Wow. Let's see, that's 75 million per hit. Well, if nothing else, this is a demonstration of what I was trying to do with the Uquaji clan, only they died very quickly.
This is not.
Alright, she used up one of her lives. Well, she didn't summon back her little bee things. Alright. Let's, we're still praying? Yes, we're still praying. Do we still have the debuffs? No, it does not look like it. Alright. And she still has rage. So let's do Luster Glare. Alright, here comes the counterattacks. This time only 27 million per attack. I guess she must have cleared away some of her debuffs and all that. No, I don't have Sword and Heart equipped.
This is not where I die.
So this is the third turn that I have. And I can redeploy that, so we'll Photon Messiah it. I guess we'll attack with that again. Glint Gale to put back that, and let's go ahead and do Refraction, keep that going.
Out!
Oh, that's not good.
I know not life's meaning, yet here I die.
Maybe for this, let's go ahead and do Sword and Heart. Maybe I should wait and blow the AF bar on that third turn.
Link engaged.
Always at the ready.
Alright, so we need rage, reduce resistances, prey, and pain.
Alakazam!
Alright, she still does very respectable damage, even without blowing the AF bar. What is this, 12 million per?
Wide open.
Yep, 12 million per attack.
This is not where I die.
Alright. One life used up. We're going to Luster Glare. This time we're going to... let's see, Nephrite Boost. We're still cheering, so... Promised Land.
This is not
You
where
used
I
up
die.
another life. Alma still can't die, so she will react. Wonder if she can take it down another life.
Wide open.
One more?
All done.
Yeah, one more. And another for good measure.
This is not where I die.
Okay. I think she's out of lives. And I think my hold ground has finished up by now too. But I have an AF bar. And this is the last turn of the Awakened Crystal Zone. So I can blow the AF bar. Photon. So 1, 1. Might as well Glint Gale again and get that resistance going. And I guess we'll Luster Glare. And then we might be able to blow Sword and Heart if we really felt like it. Well, we're supposed to showcase Alma, so let's avoid Sword and Heart. Let's just see if Alma keeps doing her thing. So we'll do 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 3, 1, 3, and maybe a 2. So 1, 1, 1, 1, and 3, 1, 3, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2. Looks like Melissa's manifest is already defeated. Alright, then we're just gonna have some fun. Let us Sword and Heart. Alloy Shield, why not? And let's give Link to everybody. Okay. Melissa's pretty much dead, so, well, her manifest weapon. So I don't feel bad using the burst now.
Feel the power of Aurum alchemy.
Well, yeah, I can keep going too.
Wide open.
I don't know why I'm still clicking. It's gonna be all 9s. Oh, no, it's not. 504 million.
Initiating maintenance protocols.
Okay.
That was nothing.
Well, there's an example of getting defeated, learning from it, and tweaking the strategy a bit. So that's a nice little bonus. That's something I actually kind of want to do. I want to start posting some of my failures and how I learned from them. Alright, yeah. Talk. I still have tiramisus to do too. I was playing around some. Alma as DPS has Elpis Bow, Elpis Ring, Vitality Badge. So as long as her health is topped off, she gets extra damage from that. She has the Power of Pain series with Bullseye, MP Consumption, and the Gleaming Power of Pain. So I've done everything I can to try and get her damage boosted as much as possible. For her support cast, we have Thillelillie. Her skills are a little different. I have Apostle, which improves weapon type damage for 5 turns. I have Promised Land, which improves power for 5 turns for shadow allies. I have Benediction, so I can deploy Crystalline Stance if I need to. When I'm in Crystalline Stance, I could awaken the zone as well. And then I have Stray Sheep, which improves party's type resistance for shadow allies for 5 turns. So she can beef up defenses with Stray Sheep, and she can beef up Alma's damage with Apostle and Promised Land. I have Iffy as well. Her presence alone improves damage of characters. As far as skills, she's going to be my pain setter, and she's going to reduce incoming damage. She also has Nocturnal Procession, which improves the party's power by 50%, at least. And her third skill, Herlania, is probably not going to be terribly helpful for these purposes. Grasta-wise, she just has Grasta that will help her survive. Mariel is going to use her praying skill to reduce damage as well. Party's type resistance by 50%. So we have a lot of type resistances here, not a lot of physical resistances. So that's a bit of a concern to me. And her Grasta are pretty much just extra health for her. Mistrare is holding Grasta. That improves damage of crystal bow users. While Joker has Almighty Power Glasses and Almighty Power Gun, both of which boost Alma's damage. He also has Power of Offense. As long as I'm in Crystal Stance, I get an extra 15% damage for the party. Which, on that note, Thillelillie is holding Enhance if Max HP Crystal. As long as Alma's at full health, her damage should be improved by 10% as well. So everyone is trying to support Alma. Sidekick-wise, I have Tetra and Iridian. Tetra has an aura that will kick in below 80% health. She should gain health, she should gain resistances. And Iridian has basically the same aura, just a little bit weaker. Below 80%, her type resistance will go up by 10% permanently. So let's test this party out. Demon Spider time. First we're going to get resistances up, so Stray Sheep, Rosaliliac, Oratio Salutis, and Refraction Bullet for the Rage. Looks like her reaction attacks are taking down Menreiki. Demon Spider's about half dead too. Alright, round 2. We'll go ahead and get Luster Glare going. We are still praying, so we could just a la Ori it. Let's go ahead and start buffing her now, so let's get her power up with both Promised Land and Nocturnal Procession. She got attacked once, reaction attack, takes care of them. We're going to go ahead and do Refraction Bullet again, because we need to inflict rage. We're still praying, so let's just keep doing that. Let's go ahead and get pain on everything. We've done Benediction. We've improved type resistance. We've improved Promised Land. So at this point, we'll do Apostle and improve weapon type damage for 5 turns. There's the pain. Now let's see what happens when she gets attacked. It's like about 41 million per attack against bosses that are not weak to crystal. And there we go. Demon Spider and Menreiki are taken care of. As much as I hate to say it, I haven't seen quite the same level of damage from Alma's reaction shots as I have with other characters. I want to see her doing like 2 billion in damage, and that just doesn't seem to be happening. So I don't think I'll be able to pull it off, but it looks like there is a viable strategy for super bosses, maybe around level 8ish, 9ish, a few 10s and below, that having Alma as a glass tank can work. So we'll try good old Dragon God. We will get that going. We will get this prayer going. Defenses. We'll get pain up. And we'll get more defenses. Alright, we have our counterattack up now. We are praying, so we'll just have her continue to pray. We'll go ahead and start buffing now with Nocturnal Procession and Promised Land. And kind of want a Lunatic. Let's see. Why don't we? Let's just see what happens. Alright, she just responded. Looks like those might have been... Yeah, I think that's the damage cap right there. 214. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't tell if that's 214 million or billion. That looked like the billion, though. So maybe the key is to Lunatic. Alright. Well, let's keep doing that. Let's rage. Let's keep praying. Let's, I guess, Rosaliliac again. And let's go ahead and awaken the zone, shall we? Why not? Alright, awakened Crystal Zone. He did 154. She did 256 million, it looked like. You can build Alma for damage and against bosses like Dragon God. Obviously, it's pretty effective. You know, if you have Thillelillie, you might as well just have her be your DPS and just slaughter the thing. So, if all you have is Alma, it is possible to build her as DPS, but I think she shines a lot better just as a tank. So, that's kind of the conclusion I've come to. I'm a little disappointed. I really like Alma, and I want her to be so much more than what she's appearing to be, and it's possible I'm just not finding the right combination yet. I think I will stick with Thillelillie as main DPS and have Alma continue as her tank role. That seems to work really well, and you'll see in my Superboss team videos some of the examples that that team can do. I just wanted to showcase a lot of the testing that I did over the past few weeks, trying to find the right combination of characters. And if you have any ideas on characters maybe that I can team her up with, survivability definitely is an issue with her, and I can stack multiple people that beef up her survivability, but then I don't have people buffing her power and stuff for the damage side of things. So that's kind of the problem I came into. Anyway, I know this is going to be a long video. This is kind of like one of those behind the scenes videos where you can kind of see all the testing that I did and decide, you know, was it valid? Is it reliable? Can you recreate a lot of this stuff? Do you even want to recreate a lot of this stuff? But that's the type of stuff I go through when I actually have a free weekend and I'm just having some fun. So anyway, hope this helps you when you're building your characters. Casual Crono, signing out.